Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
All right.
So, I'm going to be recording this, and so I can transcribe it later.
Okay.
All right. Let's get started then. What's your name, and where are you in time and space?
My name is Elucidated Void in Fargo, North Dakota. And for time, it's November.
How long have you been in Fargo?
And moved here in 2001 from a tiny town south of here. And then around 2014 until, well, no, more like 2009 until 2015. I was wandering around the West Coast and Texas and different places, and then ended up back here around 2015, 2016.
How old are you?
32, I think.
What made you decide to stay in Fargo?
Well, it's changed now, but it used to be cheap. It's gotten a lot more expensive. But
Okay.
still, better than a bigger city, and I don't really like big cities anyway. Plus, there's a good scene here with art and music.
What's the name of your primary project?
Primary project.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know if I could say any one project is primary. I just this sucks.
Okay.
That's like the first thing that you should be able to say, but like I have the website and the music and the art and da 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 and the games and the like.
Okay, let's start here. Which one of those did you start with?
I started with well, actually, you know what? I started with painting and drawing and painting. Started doing that. I mean, forever. I've always been drawing and painting. That's kind of where I always started. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a painter.
Okay.
I would really like when I was a kid. I loved Salvador Dali, and I wanted to be a painter like Salvador Dali.
Well, do you feel like you've accomplished that?
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm way beyond him. Like, I've far surpassed Dali, I think.
Do you ever have art shows?
I've only been in, well, there's a gallery here, Parachigo, that just started. That some people that I kind of knew from the art and music scene around here. But that's more like not a gallery or anything. The only time I've been in like an actual gallery was the Cincinnati Museum of Art, whatever, contemporary art exhibit where I had some of my electronics that I had built, that I sent over there, and then had this guy that was curating it had some people come in and play the electronics that I had built to like play some noise at the art gallery. But yeah, I guess I've had my paintings up in my coffee shops sometimes here and there, but.
Well, after painting, where did you move? Like what sort of medium?
What?
Like what sort of medium?
Oh, with painting, just acrylic and then collage and always been into trying to incorporate assemblages and just kind of taking a lot of the early surrealist and Dadaist techniques. But acrylic has always been, I don't have the patience for oil paint.
Do you, and where did you start in terms of music? When you first decided you want to experiment with that?
I think well, up until I was like 14, I hated music, and I obviously I hadn't read Schopenhauer, but I basically had his attitude where like if you aren't intently paying attention to the music, it's pointless to just have it on as background noise, and it's just annoying. And that's the function that music tends to serve for most people, is just kind of background noise and, you know, not something that they're intently focusing on their entire attention to. And so, but then when I was like 13 or 14, I think I was watching VH1, and they had on a documentary about Guns N' Roses, and I was like, hell yeah, now this is cool, because their music's about more than just music. It's about sex and drugs and rock and roll and like a whole, like, I don't know,
well, there's a lifestyle that's associated with it.
A lifestyle, yeah, that's what I...
Hold on just a moment.
Hello.
I apologize.
Yeah, but Guns N' Roses, I mean, I liked them, and then a little bit of some of the like punk, the Ramones and whatever, but very early, like even before then, since I was interested in like Salvador Dali and surrealism, and got into that really early, I was always into noise music as well, like.
So what instrument did you initiate with? Like, what did you start with?
Well, for music, I used FL Studio, and then for noise, I had a saxophone and a bunch of radios and an old acoustic guitar of my mom's, and circuit bent stuff.
How were you introduced to noise?
I think literally like when I was just, you know, I also am a product of the first internet generation, I guess. So like I found out about it through reading about Dadaism and surrealism. Um, so yeah,
So you actually were directly influenced by the ideas before hearing a performance.
yeah, yep. I definitely came at it from it's the same thing as with different surrealist and Dadaist like methods of painting. I always saw noise as like, instead of just using a brush and paint, you can also collage and you can scrape things up and screw and nail them together and all that. And that's how I always saw noise, as like doing that extension of the medium of painting, but expanding the medium of music.
So did you know initially that you wanted to perform live?
No, I'm a terrible performer, usually, because I just kind of I wanted to share my stuff live, and I feel like that's the best setting for it, because I do still have that kind of idea of like, I don't really listen to music a lot, and unless I'm at a show, or noise or anything like that. So like that is, I feel like, the best setting to experience that. And if I could experience that like once a week or something, that would be great.
What's musically, I guess in terms of noise, what's the name of your primary project in terms of noise?
For noise now, I've been doing Black Site, which I started doing.
Is that BLACKSITE?
Yeah,
One
yeah,
word?
and 2 words.
2 words.
That's only been going on for like a few years, though. Before that, I just had a bunch of random names, mainly Suspicion.
Is there like a specific idea behind Black Site, or maybe a set of limitations you put on Black Site?
Yeah, yeah, that project is very that was why I switched to the project away from Suspicion, because Suspicion was just getting too amorphous and unfocused and blending in with my non-noise, just kind of normal music. But with Black Site, it's very, I try to capture a very specific
Would you mind describing it to me?
yeah, it's
All right. What?
one of the okay, yeah, like one of the sound influences of it is like a fire, like a campfire, and the random crackling,
Mm-hmm.
and like that specific kind of like crackling and popping sound. I feel like is a good sound metaphor for like a lot of the time of my life that I've spent very isolated. And when you're isolated, you and you're like in a room, you start to see things moving around that aren't moving around, or you see little dots and flicks of light in places, and it's kind of similar, like a visual version of like sitting at a campfire and hearing the random popping. So yeah, I think that's the main influence of it.
Do you typically play with other people?
No. I do enjoy doing it though.
Do you perform it live at all?
Yeah, a few times a year.
All right. Well, what about some of your other projects? Maybe your more musical projects. What are they about? What are they called?
There's like the ones on my Bandcamp, that's Licknand, and then that and Bone Surgery are kind of like interchangeable sometimes, although Bone Surgery is more kind of a concept project of like a Gorillaz style, like fictional band.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Licknand is just my main thing that I release my my stuff under. And
where do you release it?
I release it on Bandcamp and on cybergrunge.net.
All right. Before we get to cybergrunge.net, is there any other are there any other personal art projects that you have going?
Yeah, I've started working on 2 Game Boy games that I one of them is more just a kind of walk around and try to solve puzzles game called Dark Force, and then the other one that most recently I started working on is called Death Mask, and it's kind of a run and gun, but like a weird surrealist run and gun.
Why did you pick green Game Boy in particular?
The Game Boy is a beautiful thing. Maybe I don't even think though that it's just the fact that I'm nostalgic over it, because I think I was like five or six maybe 7 when I got my Game Boy Color. And I played Pokemon and Dragon Warrior Monsters constantly. But
it got in there.
Yeah, it just stuck with me. The way the 16 by 16 sprite size, the color limitations of it, where you have four colors, and then for color, the thing I'm using now, you can't do full color, but so you still have to kind of use four colors, but you can palette swap for more colors. I don't know, it just always seemed like the perfect just medium to make a video game. Like,
and when did so you must be interested in programming too?
Yeah, I just learned what I need to learn to get done the things that I need to do, though.
Okay.
Here and there. I mean, I know a lot because I've wanted to do a lot of different things. So, but yeah.
I know you also, I believe you create your own pedals and things, don't you?
Yeah, mainly synths, but I do make some kind of distortion pedals here and there, or yeah.
Gracias. Any chance you could bring me a can? Any chance you could swing me a can over here?
Well, okay. Well, then do you want to talk about cybergrunge.net?
I suppose. I don't
You
know.
suppose.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like it's kind of your grand culmination of your projects to me. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but it's sort of where everything ends up, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is, yeah. That and my NeoCities website.
And I'm trying to thread this, trying to organize this interview so it has somewhat of a narrative structure to it. So let's reach the climax here. Cybergrunge.net. Pitch me, sell me. What is it? I want to convert.
Oh God! All right. Well, yeah. It's I don't know, just a little site I made.
Okay, but what's the point of it? What is your agenda in making it?
Oh yeah, it's you know, just a place to share stuff that you've made, and just provide like free hosting for music and music videos and art. And I am working on, I don't know, I've still got a lot of work to do on it though, like to have more integration with, I used to have a forum and all that, but it's a lot of work to code it.
What's your dream though with it? Like you seem to be hosting a lot of underground people's work on it.
Yeah, well, I've tried working with a few different groups of folks, working with making it kind of more of a good hub for like underground music and whatnot. But you know, there's scene politics all the time, and so it's but I want the site to be very apathetic and removed from any of that, which is why I kind of like didn't want to make it like, at first I was like, I could make it kind of like an alternate social media where people can share events and stuff and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that people can like go on and chat and share tutorials and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what I want it to be. So, because like so many people in underground scenes come at it with a very Twitter mindset, and I want it to be like the opposite of that, of Twitter. I was thinking at some point, if I do ever make a way of people a forum and where people can post and stuff and talk to each other, and that it would be required that you use a pseudonym and that you don't talk about who you are when you're using it. And that's something I want to implement eventually, because I just want it to be a place where people come and just discuss the art and the music and just experience the art and the music, instead of, trying to boost themselves in the algorithm and whatnot.
I see. That's I could see why that would be a concern for people to do that. So,
yeah, because with the front page on Cybergrunge, it defaults to showing random albums, because I want people to just come there and be open-minded and be like, I want to hear some random stuff that somebody posted up on here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people to go there and be like, in general, because I personally find it really hard to discover new music and new artists. And I think it maybe is just a thing with the way our brains work, where I stick with the stuff I know, and then if there's something, that person plays a show with somebody else that knows them or is related, or does a split with them, or mutual friends, whatever, it kind of grows to that network effect. But there's downsides to the network effect, and so my vision of a different way of distributing music and art is a stochastic method where you just get shown some random stuff and just take it as it is. But maybe that's idealistic.
Would you build in something into the program to incentivize that behavior, or do you want to be very, very not an algorithm at all?
That's a good way to idea there. Yeah, because that was something that there was Stumble Upon, I'm thinking of kind of as an example.
Yeah.
Where you kind of had this good feeling of stumbling upon some random thing and then showing your appreciation for it, giving it a listen. And
I used to do Stumble Upon all the time. I found a lot of good webcomics that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And then you just get the satisfaction of knowing oh, hey, I just listened to something that not a lot of people have probably listened to, and
right.
That's awesome. This is something really special for me that I got to discover. So yeah.
Yep. Just
that's something to think about.
Just thinking.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I do have like I said, some general ideas of the direction that I want things to go in, but it is, since I'm coding it all by scratch myself, and I suck at promoting myself and the stuff I'm doing. It's just, yeah.
It's not just you. A lot of outsider artists seem to have trouble with that end of it.
Yeah. And then it doesn't help that I have all of these different projects, like the music and the art and the coding, and
yeah.
So there's just not enough time to do it all.
True. Well, since this, okay, is there anything you'd like to promote?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to promote my games that I'm working on, um, as well as cybergrunge.net as a website, because I think there's almost 350 albums that people have uploaded on cybergrunge.net now. So there's a lot of content on there, and there's a radio player that'll just play you infinite random songs. But yeah, my games are all free. They're on itch.io, on void.itch.io.
Okay, make sure to DM me the various website names so I could get them. I make sure I don't spell them wrong.
Okay.
So on Cybergrunge, once someone puts their music up, do they also have the ability to take it down again, or do you kind of like once it's there, it's there?
I did used to have. Well, there is still a method where if you go to edit the album, you can delete the tracks, and once you delete all the tracks, it'll just delete the item.
Okay.
But the whole interface is kind of esoteric, and so and I don't personally have an issue with that. Because I like weird, clunky interfaces like that. I think they're fun to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's not everybody's thing. But yeah. But then also, I get DMs from people about like, hey, I uploaded this album and it's all glitched out. I don't know what to do. And then I'll just go in and fix it for them. And so like I said, I used to have a lot more robust album manager, but it's just been an issue of security and making sure that some random person can't just delete a bunch of albums or upload just random shit.
I see.
That's like malware or phishing scams or something like that.
Porn bots or something.
Yeah, that's been really frustrating, especially because that's the way the internet is now.
Oh,
is
yeah.
that the internet traffic is all just bots, and they just scan your website for input methods and codes, and it's completely automated. You'll get, if you try to make your own website and you're not using a framework like WordPress or Joomla or Jenkins or whatever, you're gonna get so much spam, and it's really hard to code stuff and make sure that you aren't getting attacked by bots and spam.
Yeah, it seems like they just riddled the entire internet pretty much. They're running things now.
Yeah.
And they're running things to offer not real deals, and
Yeah.
and they really want you to look at naked people. Which is fine. I mean, I like looking at naked people. It's the internet. I don't need any help finding access to naked people.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they want you to look at their specific
their
site.
specific thing, right? It's
yeah, and there's no I understand the the way that the W3 consortium and different institutions like that, they want they don't want to clamp down because there's always limit cases where clamping down is going to have a negative impact in some very small cases, and then the people that are impacted by that have no recourse. I don't know. It's just a.
I have this thing where, like, on my Instagram, I'll have someone like follow me, and I'll click it, and it's a picture of a naked person, and I'll just not follow them, and then a week later, I'll get a different account, but with the same picture of the other person. And I'm like, how did I get put on this list? Like, how do I like
Yeah,
like the same photo again and again and again?
oh my God.
And I've never like followed the link or anything, but
yeah, I don't know. There's just it's because we live in a society now that like before, in like the early 2000s on the internet, there wasn't really much of an incentive to make all these bots and everything, because ironically people had a lot more tech literacy at that time, just because you had to have more tech literacy in order to use a computer.
Right.
Whereas now with smartphones and laptops and iPads and tablets and everything like that, and then everything has been made, very easy to use, which is good for accessibility purposes. But on the other hand, it also means that people, like, gullible grandma can just, you can get access to her and get her attention in a way that in the earlier days of the internet you couldn't really, and like there were definitely a ton of scams.
Well, there were like email chains and like
yeah,
stuff. But
nowadays, yeah, and nowadays too, now with machine learning and bots, like it's a lot harder to tell. I know a lot of people who get scammed on different stuff, and I can't even really blame them and be like, oh, it's really, really stupid that you got scammed by that. It was obviously fake, because scammers have just gotten better. But that's the thing, is like it's more profitable in this current structure of the internet to be a scammer than to like run cybergrunge.net.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I wanted to make money and get clicks, I would just be a scammer or like spam and like whatever. Like, so, and that's just because and I think it's because of the consolidation with social media and everything. Like that has something to do with it. I'm not really sure how, but
cybergrunge.net's the solution.
I'd say, yeah. Well, and I also try to link to other people that are doing similar stuff. Like, there's always a section on the website. Here's some other people doing similar stuff, and like keeping the internet like about what it was designed for, which the internet was designed as an educational tool. Well, originally it was designed to, kill people in Vietnam or whatever, but
also colleges.
But also colleges, in order to, play tic-tac-toe. So.
And then to get withdraw money from your bank, I guess.
Yeah, and calculate spreadsheets.
And then email spreadsheets,
like
and then download spreadsheets.
Yeah. So, but, well...
The internet's a spreadsheet, is what I'm saying.
Like, I just always, and that idea has gone away completely now, where like the internet is, it's such a big part of our lives that we don't even think about what it is or what its purpose should be. And there are people who are like, well, we should be agnostic about it, what its purpose is, because it's just technology. Like, but I don't think we should be agnostic, and I think we should say like for me on my laptop, I don't have access to social media on my laptop because I blacklisted it all. Like, just because when I'm on my laptop, I want to be learning. I want to be on Stack Exchange, seeing, answers to coding problems. I want to be, just, I don't want to be, just scrolling and just mindlessly like fidgeting around on my computer. Like when I want to be on my computer, I want to be getting something done. Oh.
Well, final question. Is there anything you were hoping I would ask that I didn't?
Are you gonna ask it after? Or just no?
Or you can just answer it.
God. I wish you would have asked me how I'm doing. No, I'm just kidding.
You don't have to have an answer. It could be no.
I mean, I guess, yeah, I was hoping that you'd ask more about like my whole conflict with politics and art and aesthetics and how that all factors in. But
let's go for it. What is your conflict with politics and art, and how does that factor in?
Yeah, so like I said, early in my life and whatnot, art and music, I had this idea of fine art and art that is pure and just art for art's sake. And I really romanticized that idea of just creative, intellectual, like, well, indulgence. But obviously I didn't see it as indulgence. I saw it as a noble pursuit of knowledge and wisdom through aesthetics. And
Well, how'd that change?
I mean, I still have those tendencies as a thing, and I feel like it's always going to be like that. But I was. I guess I just always got frustrated with art because art and music, and I've always had a love-hate relationship with it because I feel like it should mean something and it should have an impact that really, like a bigger impact than it does than just like, turn on a playlist on Spotify, or like a picture on Instagram. And like, I just felt like art and music should be earth shattering. So through that, I can kind of dispose of this bourgeois idea of fine art and art for art's sake. and and that is why, like, I've always been interested in mass culture and lowbrow stuff. When I was a teenager, it was because I thought that stuff was detestable and just, you know, ridiculous and something to be written off as not meaningful. But I think definitely as I've gotten older and started to just not really find much satisfaction out of this whole just art for art's sake, and like being, well, I'm not going to be a painter selling my paintings for thousands of dollars, rich assholes. I'm not going to be playing sold out shows, whatever, blah blah blah. There's always some bitterness around that. But also just the fact that for myself, I don't feel much satisfaction unless the art and the music has a purpose, like forming community or just forming connections between individual people, and that's the main thing, is just and us assembling, uniting a sort of a culture, like of just, yeah. And I don't know, I guess I never think I'll fully understand what the purpose of art and music is. Which is why I don't separate it from any other things that people do in life anymore. And I don't even really like to think about art or music as like separate categories from anything else that you do, like eating and sleeping and whatnot. So, and that is the thing about mass culture that I think is cool, because mass culture is kind of like that, where it's so fully integrated into your life that, and then the earth shaking, earth shattering, like, aspect of that is in reformulating the way that you relate to the world because of the way that you relate to the media that you ingest. I guess that's all.
Well, I think that's plenty. How about you?
Yeah.
I've enjoyed listening to you talk about your work, and I appreciate you agreeing to this interview.
Yeah, thank you for having me in it.
The print edition will be out on the 1st of January, and the audio edition will be released on my YouTube channel in February.
Yo, I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Yeah, Issues Magazine YouTube channel.
Oh, awesome. I am going to check that out.
You type in Issues Magazine, Issues all in caps, it should be the first channel that pops up.
Okay. Oh, awesome. That's such a good idea. Yo, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
That rules. Can I put these interviews up on Cybergrunge.net?
Yeah, as long as you're willing to, like, wait on it till so we co-release or whatever.
Oh, no, I just mean, like...
Yeah, I would like to talk to you about I'd like to talk to you more about Cybergrunge.net at some other time when I'm not recording it, but, like...
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I mean, I would. There's definitely some things I would like to put up there. Maybe if I could go back and get all the okays from people, maybe all of the initial commodity fetish releases. Who knows? We'll see. Now that pretty much all the various social media and releases are all just massively exploitative shitbags. Like they're all just falling one by one. It would be nice.
And I've been having a lot of people being like, oh, well, can I monetize stuff on cybergrunge.net? And I am going to be working on that. I swear to God, within probably a year or so, you are going to be able to upload an album to cybergrunge.net, be able to monetize a digital download from it, and also I am going to set up a back-end interface for the Kunaki API to automatically have CDs pressed on demand from the Cybergrunge website. So
very cool.
That'll be happening at some point.
Nice. Well, I think this was a great interview. I'm sure we'll chat again sometime, but I'm ready to say goodbye if you are.
Alrighty.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.